Channel viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. In our previous episode, we talked about how NI can be a nuisance for NI users. In this episode, we are going to continue talking about NI, but for other perceiving function users. So including our shadow functions, we have 8 different cognitive functions but placed in different positions. It is possible to train your NI so that you can be better with predicting events. But how can any MBTI type improve their NI? In this episode, we're going to give you some tips. So for any users, if you want to improve your NI, I have 2 different tips for you. The first one is filter or choose. One very important function of NI is that it shortlists for you. If you do not know whether you want to go out with Tom or you want to go out with Jane, NI helps you by figuring out what you can do with Tom and Jane individually. If you do not know whether you want to eat pork chop or chicken chop, just shortlist, just choose. Usually there is not much difference between whether you eat pork chop or chicken chop or fish and chips. So just choose. So a second thing that any users can do is to imagine. So imagine it in your head instead of trying it out. Not sure whether person A or person B is a better guy or girl for you, imagine. Imagine how it feels like to go out with this person on a date, how it feels like to hold a person's hand. You don't have to execute a possibility in reality. Just do it in your brain. Do it inside. For SI users, what can you do to improve your NI? I would say have fun. Go on an adventure. Get your brain used to randomness. SI users may be very used to having regular routines. If you want to train yourself to have better NI, then you need to be used to irregularities because NI is very haphazard and random. So as an ENTJ, I occasionally laugh out of nowhere. Why? Because I am actually thinking randomly in my head certain things and I find certain things very funny. But of course, people who are observing me will not know what I am thinking because it's all in my head. Maybe SI users, you can also let loose your brain. Just think of anything out of nowhere and laugh or cry. SE users, what can you do to improve your NI? Now this is a little bit tricky. SE users have to consciously hold yourself from taking action. Imagine what the consequence of something will be. Imagine the consequence of what you are doing impulsively maybe. Sometimes NI can prevent you from getting into trouble. A lot of times SE users may do something that they may eventually regret, although they may want to bear the consequences. Sometimes it is best to avoid that outcome altogether, and I can help you in that. All you have to do is to slow yourself down or to hold yourself from acting or saying something. In general, for any of us to develop NI, including NI users, we can do a few things. One is to meditate, but I seldom meditate. A second tip that I have is to draw analogies and parallels. When you see 2 things that are related or it could be not related, try to form a sentence or a story. Try to create a storyline or see parallels between them. What do I mean by parallels? For example, let's say we have a carrot and an egg. You see them both on the table. So ask yourself, what is something that you can say about these 2? If your NI is very developed, you can come up with something that really impresses yourself. Example, the carrot when boiled becomes soft, but an egg when boiled becomes harder. Sometimes in our daily conversations, we come up with a lot of different situations. Or when we are thinking about something, we come up with a lot of different situations. Try to think of an analogy or a parallel that goes along with that situation. For example, I can think of a teacher who is getting very tired with work because he only wants to teach. But now he has to entertain parents, he has to set papers for examination, and he doesn't like all this kind of components, although he really likes to teach. Can you find parallels in other industries? Obviously you can. It's very easy. So train yourself to do that. So you can think that maybe for a celebrity or an artist, they only want to sing, they want to release albums. They do not want to go for autograph sessions. They do not want to really go on TV because they are really very introverted. So it's the same parallel actually. You enjoy certain components of your work, but then yet there are certain components of your work that you cannot avoid. You get what I'm talking about? So try to think of parallels more often, and that helps in your NI. Of course, it will be very difficult for non-NI users to develop NI to the point whereby we can predict the future or we can know certain things. But you can actually sharpen your intuition, and that's important. I hope that this episode helps you. So at Channel NITT, we produce a lot of MBTI videos such as this one. If you have enjoyed our content, do give us a like and share. And if you have not already subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more MBTI, ENTJ, INTJ and fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.